Hey, this is Mr. Ayers, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Aspen student portal for DoDEA. And that student portal is where you're going to go to check your grades. And parents, this is for you. I would get your students' email and their password as well so that you can log in and use it anytime that you want and check their grades and check their status, check their attendance. There's all kinds of good stuff in here. So let's go ahead and get started so I can show you a little bit. All right, so this is actually the student portal, but the way that we get here is actually going to be a little bit different. So you can actually type this in at the very top, or you can just go to any DoDEA website. So I'm going to go to ours, pick your favorite browser, type in your school name, and up at the very top is actually the class link right here. And I'm going to click on that class link, and ClassLink is actually pretty special because it is only for DoDEA, right? So if you just type in ClassLink, that's going to go to just a general website. But with DoDEA, ours is a little bit more secure than most. So we want to have the DoDEA ClassLink. So when you click that, it's actually going to ask you to sign in as for your Gmail. So it's going to ask for your Gmail. And then inside of here is all of the different apps that DoDEA has on their approved software list that students can use. So one of those is actually our DoDEA SIS portal. And this is what it looks like. You're going to go ahead and click into that. And that's going to bring you finally to this page. Now, once you get to this page, we're going to use this student sign in down here. And then you just click sign in. Now, you're going to have to put in one more time your student Gmail. So down here, I'm going to go ahead and choose one of the student emails that I have. I've already used. You're going to actually type in your student email. And then this is where you get signed in. Now, inside of here, this is what our landing page looks like. There might be an announcement up here for the school. And then you can put in websites of your frequently used websites if you want to, just by clicking this edit. Up at the very the top, we have our My Info tab, which we'll be talking about. That's your personal demographics. We have our Academics tab. That's where we'll spend most of our time, and that's all about grades and getting your assignment information. We got our calendar up at the very top, which is the calendar view of all of our classes. And then up in the very top right is actually where you can set preferences for your account. So if I click into that set preferences, you can see there's a location, there's a serve. This automatically saves every 5 minutes. You can change the help task so it can actually help you get through and navigate. There's records per page, and that should be fine. We only have mostly about 8 classes per student, so that's not going to be a big deal. And then you can also warn on save. This is your security where you can actually change the username and password. I don't recommend doing that because all of this stuff is already pre-set up for you. And then right here is where you do the communication. You can see if you want to add your school photo or not. So that is where that information is. And then on the left-hand side is actually your pages directory. And this might develop as we go. We're just kind of starting off with this for right now. But once we get going, you might find pages of each of your classes or maybe some clubs or something like that in this page directory. Just by clicking on it, you can see where all of the different clubs might be located. And then you can click on that if you want to get like a web page or updated information or announcements for that particular class. All right, so that's their pages. That is the preference up here. And now let's talk about our demographics. So I'm going to go into My Info. And inside My Info is actually information about the student. The address tab is right next to it. And race and ethnicity. You can check all your students' information right here. If any of this is incorrect, please contact the registrar at your school in the front office, and they'll be able to change that information. Next is the transcript. Transcripts are really for students who have been here for a while. So this is our first year using the Aspen database. So you're not going to have a whole lot of information in here. And then next is our current schedule down here. So current schedule, you can see it. This is the student schedule. They don't have any A days, but their B days kind of look like this. All right. And this is today's day. So you can actually see what their schedule looks like. So if you click on the next tab, your next tab is actually contacts. So these are all the contacts that the student has that's related to the student. And it has the address and phone number of each of the people that are related to that student. So you can actually put in information here. Again, if this information isn't correct, please go see the registrar at your school and they'll be able to update that. Next is the attendance information. So this is any attendance notes that were taken by the student for the whole year. So you can actually see when the student was tardy or when they were absent, or maybe they got pulled out early for an appointment or something like that. So that's what that looks like. Next is your notifications. So notifications tab is really important, especially for the student. Once we have our parent portal up, parents will be able to set this as well. And you can see you can choose which email. Right now it's just the student email. So anytime that there's a grade that is below a certain threshold, so let's say I wanted anything below 70, you can actually put that in there and they'll send an email about that to the email. All right. And you can also do it for anytime that there's a attendance mark or a late grade. So that might be beneficial as a parent once we get that parent portal up and running. But for right now, it goes to the student.nodia.edu account. But again, if you have that information, if you have your student's email, you have your student's password, then you'll be able to get that information too on that email. All right, and then the next one is requests, which we're not going to be going over today because that is more for the future. So next one is academics. So up at the very top, there's the academics tab. The academics tab is basically all your classes. So this has information in the grades for all your classes. You can see this person has actually 4 classes. You can see the description of the class here, the course, term, the teacher's name. You can actually email using these links right here, the teacher, and this goes directly to their professional email. And then you can actually see a general overview of the grade also, and as well as how many times they've been absent or tardy, or maybe they got pulled out once or twice. All right, so that's what that looks like. Now, inside of here, let's say I wanted to know what the students' grades were for their assignments. So you can actually click inside of the class here and actually see a little more detail about that particular class. So on the left-hand side, you can see all of the attendance summary for the year. On the right-hand side, there's an average summary. So that average summary covers the different categories, right? So this teacher has 2 different categories, one for projects and another one for different types of projects. So they have 2 different categories for that. And you see they are weighted the same. And then right here is how much they got for each one of those categories. And then the last thing that is that you might be concerned about is this last posted grade. So a posted grade is the grade at the end of the semester, right? Or the end of the quarter. Teachers have to post a grade. And that's like a snapshot of the grade. So there may be a case where the teacher has to post a grade early in that quarter. Maybe a student is leaving. So if a student leaves and the teacher has to post a grade so that they have a grade on their report card as they leave, that's going to be just a snapshot of that teacher. So they're also going to do it at the very end of the quarter. All right, so those are just the posted grades. That may not be the grade that they currently have. So be aware of that posted grade versus the quarter grade, right? Or the current grade here. All right, and if I wanted to, I could actually jump into assignments from this screen as well. assignments is a detailed look of all the assignments in that student's class. So here is the assignment. You can see it. The assignment name is pop-up. We got the assigned date, and you can see it was an ungraded assignment. And you can also see when it was due. All right. And then down here, you can see how many points they were awarded for each one of these assignments as well. All right. And this one, it looks like they got some extra credit for as well. All right. So you can see they got all kinds of things. Now, if I want to, I can actually go in and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why did they get 130 on this particular or extra credit on this particular assignment? All right. And it should tell you details. Sometimes there are details on the assignment. Sometimes there's not. But you can see there's a description of the assignment. There's remarks about the assignment. Maybe something happened with the assignment. Maybe it's a redo or something like that. And then there's also resources provided by the teacher. So if the teacher were to put resources in there, you can see that as well. And this is for later time, resources submitted by the student. Perhaps we'll be using that. We're not sure if we're going to be using that yet. But that's what the assignment details looks like for each of those assignments. And then right after that is the attendance. And the attendance is actually all the attendance in a column. You can see how they're doing, why they got pulled out of whatever resource or whatever class, right? And this is just for this class up here. You can see the classes, and it says the beginning art is where he's getting that from. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back into the classes tab. So I can always go back and forth using the breadcrumbs up here. And then that link gets me back here. Now, if I want to, I can actually email my teachers all together. If I had a request, if I click up here and click send email, this will create an email inside of Aspen that you can actually create. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and type something. If I type in something, I'm just going to put test. You can put a subject line here. And you can see it emails each one of these teachers. All right. And then you just click send and it sends it to them. All right. You can also attach pictures and stuff like that if you need to. And there's all kinds of this nice formatting too to make it look nice. The next thing is our calendar. And so the calendar over here actually is basically a calendar for all of your assignments. So you can see this is actually the day view. So this is Thursday and Friday, but perhaps you want to see the weekly view. And now you can see all the assignments pop up here. And maybe I want to check this. But this is a nice view so you can actually see what the student's been up to for the entire month or for the entire week based upon different classes. So you see the classes are actually color coded, which is kind of nice too. And looks like you can double click into it and actually see the assignment in that view as well. All right, so that's basically it inside of the student portal. If you guys have any questions at all, please join us for our Sip and See for parents, or as students, if you have any trouble, please contact your seminar teacher, or most teachers should be able to help you with whatever you have issues with, or you can come see me in the IC and I'm happy to help you out as well. All right, till next time, this is Mr. Ayers. Later, Wildcats.